Let me get this out of here. There's no way to put on chapstick without looking at least 25% gay. It's true, man.
Yeah, you're right, you're right.
I'm not happy.
Oh my God, those 3 words have ruined countless men's lives across the Western world. And they've forced generations of children to grow up without their fathers. Don't you wish there was a webinar or a course out there where somebody would teach you how to keep that from happening? Well, I'm not a genie, but your wish is my command. I am going to teach you how to weaponize the bureaucracy of this nation and use it against a target that has done you significant damage. I'm Terrence Popp, a retired vet, evil genius, and a non-custodial parent. I have survived the corruption of this system, and I learned a hell of a lot from my mistakes. In the 15 years since my divorce, I have taught dozens of men exactly what I'm going to teach you. So I built a webinar so you can benefit from over a decade of my trial and errors. And that is why I created Administrative Violence, Divorce, and Custody Edition. For just $200, you're going to receive over 4 hours of exclusive content. And that includes tutorials and interviews with other men who have gone through the system as well. Flip the script on the law, the judge, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker. They were all home when you left. And they all formed a line right up to the wall by the hole which goes into your marital suite. I don't know about you, but I don't want to be the last guy in line for access to that hole, if you know what I mean. Administrative Violence will be released on Memorial Day for just 5 days. Exclusively available only on manopay.net. And as a special thanks to our supporters on these sites, you're going to get a code to save some cash. So mark your calendars, gentlemen, because guess what? That's going to be one hell of a rumpy-pumpy ride.
I am Master Popp, and you are Master Debaters. In your own home. So sad. What's going on, you spinning topless power bottoms? It's been a long time. I'm Blake, this is Popp.
And it's time for another ride and roast.
With 2 phallic objects and a tiny car. Or if you prefer, my personal favorite title for the show, The Jukes of Hazard. Going down the street, bitching about cultural Marxism. It's a bunch of shit. Or in this case, we're talking about 11 mistakes you're making that escalate arguments with your partner.
Okay, I can't wait to hear this.
I mean, we've all had fights, obviously.
There's no way you can have a live-in partner and not fight. That's just the way it is.
Yeah, even the best relationships become relationships once in a while. It's been there, done that.
So have I. One of them chased me with a baseball bat full of gutter nail.
And you didn't even do anything.
No, I literally just
showed
was
up.
coming up the stairs. Crazy bitch, man.
So, what do you think? Tonight Italian or... Okay.
And here we go.
Cardio, right.
Well, you know, if you're in a relationship, it could be a lot of those rules from that movie, Zombieland or whatever.
Yes.
Come into play.
Rule number 1 is cardio.
Cardio.
Poor fat bastards.
Yeah, cardio and then hiding.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of men hide.
Avoid these mistakes, says Dr. Daryl Appleton.
All right, so why is it in our culture you have to have like some kind of crazy letters behind your name before they take you serious? I don't get
Well,
it.
leftoids love to do this all the time when they debate. You know, when they actually try to engage in something that on the surface looks like a debate, they call it the argument from authority. And that's why they always like to begin sentences with, as a woman of color, as a doctor of psychotherapy.
It is my personal truth.
It is my personal lived truth that gender is like Baskin-Robbins 31 flavors. Well, that is incorrect. But I digress. You argue about more than one thing at a time.
That's fairly common.
Especially for the bearers of the vagine. It's because they got that emotional hurt locker. You know, they can't talk about what happened that caused this fight. It's all the little stuff that they've been storing up, and they're just waiting to unload it on you.
The fight bank.
Yes.
We did a whole video on this.
The emotional hurt locker is a real thing, and they keep that fucker under lock and key.
That's right. The hurt bank is real. Oh, I stalled it. When you argue with them, all right, there's the main portion of the argument, and it will usually be based on some kind of emotional horseshit.
And then when they start to lose the argument, then all that stuff that you did
that's right.
10 years ago starts to come out.
It's all in the fight bank. They pull that out, so they do the multi-prong attack on your ass, which we're covering in administrative violence. And men, you need to know that this is what you're dealing with when your woman argues like this.
Because they're going to do it.
They all do it. It's like they come out of the box pre-programmed for this shit. It's insane.
And usually, if they're accusing you of doing something that you have most definitely not done, it's because they're doing it, and they've used all this hurt locker stuff to justify doing it to you.
That's absolutely correct.
Let's pretend that's not true.
Yeah.
When she goes down and inserts the peg D into her slot A
And slot C.
and slot C, somehow in her mind you were there forcing her head down upon the peg D and then doing CPR on the guy's lower back while he's banging her. It is such horseshit.
Yeah, I was there, you know, maneuvering all of the sea cucumbers into the pumpkin patch.
You were directing the whole thing.
Yeah.
That's right. Hit it. All right, bend her over. That's right. All right, you need to pull your head back so people can see the peg D coming in and out of your slot A. All right, bang away.
I'll be over here in the corner crying.
Yeah, with a cage on my P-Nice. Men, grow up.
Here's a thought, ladies. When you want to argue about something, stick to the point or shut your mouth.
That's absolutely correct. And men will respect you for it. That's how you get respect points from a dude. You argue the point with him, and if you're right, you get brownie points for that from the dude. If you're an emotional crybaby arguer, you become the psycho, soon to be ex.
Arguing about more than one thing at a time is a surefire way to get a dude to just Just turn that selective hearing that we hear so much about, because every fucking wedding toast has it now.
So you're just like, a car. What's up with the car? Other than that, most guys are just doing the brain fog, or they don't want to come home because they know this is what they're going to face. There's many men out there who are absolutely fucking miserable because they married a whip cracker of a psycho wife.
Blaming language.
Oh! Blame and shame. And the reason this works on men is because they're using men's pride against them.
One of the easiest ways to distract most people during a debate is whataboutism. You've got them dead to rights. They're caught red-handed, in the cookie jar. Well, you did this. Doesn't have any bearing on the current discussion. Doesn't take away from the fact that they betrayed you. But you did something just as bad in my eyes, therefore my behavior totally validated. Don't let them get away with it. People do it all the time.
I've lived through it myself, so.
Yep.
You should have known. It's too late.
Yep.
I fell out of love with you, but I love you, but I'm not in love with you. Like, what the fuck is that?
I need space without you in it.
We did a whole video on this too, so.
Women cheat on men all the time, but 85% of the time it's the man's fault. Whatever the hell that's supposed to mean.
Yeah, and that excuse works 100% of the time.
There's lies, damn lies, and statistics. Number 3, generalizing. Now, you have to do this in comedy, which is why we do it a lot.
Yeah, we do a lot, yeah.
But as a matter of arguing, I actually will agree with the good doctor on this one. He says, instead of using a hyperbolic language that can make your partner feel powerless, focus on the moment, don't generalize.
Correct. Because when you generalize, you're literally taking your partner, putting them on a cross, and crucifying them for the sins of everyone else of the same sex.
Yes. But women would never do that.
No, women never do that.
You never see them go on TikTok with, their hashtag, all men are the same, men are pigs. Never mind, women are equal to men and there's no physical or mental differences, which means you're pigs and you're all the same. If you make that argument.
But we're not going to generalize here.
It's a terrible idea.
Terrible.
Terrible. There's always exceptions to every rule, but stereotypes exist for a reason.
Unbelievable.
The only place where bullshit stereotypes are created is higher education. Avoid eye contact, and you and I talked about this one a little bit, because that is a sign of what?
Weakness.
Yes.
If you're a beta, you don't make eye contact. Like when I was a first sergeant, I would have new guys show up, and a lot of them wouldn't look at me, or they'd look at the ground, and I'd have to jump in their shit and just say, listen, I'm no better than you. I've just been here fucking longer.
Yeah.
That is it.
Now, I will disagree with the good doctor on this point. He says behaviors like this signal aggression.
What?
No,
they do not.
Really what it does is this is a dehumanizing angle, because women do this all the time. If you catch them in a lie and they're getting ready to unload that hurt locker on you, they can't look you in the eye when they do it, because as soon as they do, they'll burst into tears. This is a sign of pure, unfettered weakness.
They have no idea what they're fucking talking about. If you go through any of the mammals in nature,
oh yeah,
gorillas, wolves, dogs, you make eye contact with the head guy, he's going to take that as a challenge.
Yep.
And fuck you up. That's how nature works.
Yep.
You don't need that.
Man, they'll come at you swinging and pounding their chest like King Kong.
You're dead.
Yep.
You're dead. You can't. A gorilla will just rip your head off. They're just.
Bye-bye.
You're done.
You might say they're going bananas.
Yeah.
But enough with the dad jokes.
Dad jokes are actually awesome, and here's why.
Next one. Criticizing too harshly. Now, ladies, take notes. The only thing we're going to criticize is your cooking, possibly your weight if you're getting a little too comfortable in the relationship,
Or
if you know what I mean.
a legitimate fuck up.
A legitimate grievance, yes.
Yeah.
Women look at it as their job to criticize their man to keep him in line, because they know what a real man is.
Yes, I've
A
heard
real
that
man
so many
wouldn't
times.
tell men not to get married.
You know how many times I get hate mail like that?
Every day.
And it's all the same. It's all the same. I actually have to go through the hate mail and pick out anything that's different.
And that's why you only do those like once or twice a year now.
Yeah.
Instead of, we did like 2 or 3 episodes in our first few years.
Yes.
But then we realized, oh, these are all the same.
They don't argue the point. It's always you hate your mother, you're gay, you can't get laid.
Small penis.
What the fuck? Get with the program.
Yeah, you're not a real man. You wouldn't know what one is. And you got that from other men after the Mangina Syndrome video.
Yeah, and I've actually what do you mean? I've jumped into fucking combat.
Yeah.
I've led men in battle and in war. You can just take that real man horse shit and shove it right up your ass.
It's funny because articles like this are written by women for women. Although this comes from Dr. Daryl Appleton, this was repackaged by Danny Grande, D-A-N-I, so pretty sure that's not a dude.
How dare you?
Name calling and cursing. Now take
All right,
notes,
I agree
leftoids.
with this. I agree with this.
Absolutely.
Whenever that happens, you need to step back, chill, and then re-engage after you've calmed down, because you're not going to get anywhere angry.
But leftoids cannot win a debate without this. As soon as you get into a debate with somebody on the left, what do they immediately resort to?
Istophobic. You feel that way because you're afraid of everything.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out.
You're afraid of progress. Yes, it's really progress to reintroduce segregation legislation 60 years after people fought and died in actual fiery but peaceful protests. To get rid of it. Yeah, makes all the sense in the world as long as you're a fucking idiot. Oh wait, I'm name calling and cursing. Damn it! But when you are in a relationship, if anyone resorts to this kind of stuff, you need to start deducting cool points, and you get down near the bottom of the barrel and it starts affecting their look points. Cut, sling, load, move on.
You put them in your mind, you put them in the lawn chair hooked up to the catapult, and fling them over the wall to be with all the other idiots.
Like a bag of shit. Because anybody that supposedly loves you, who is going to resort to name calling to try to win the fight, they're not worth your time. That's somebody who looks down upon you and thinks that you are there to service their needs.
Especially if it's over small bullshit. Like if you do something major, like, burn through all of your savings that you and her have put together to buy a car you didn't talk to her about.
I could understand the emotional reaction.
You can expect, motherfuckers and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And you're a dick for doing that, in my opinion. But for not, she comes home and you didn't do the dishes and she's fucking going off on you. You don't need that in your life. in any relationships, you're going to have some name calling when people get pissed. And what dictates if it's going to last is how you handle it, either calmly or with anger.
So beautiful.
This next one here, you can interpret it in many different ways, but I have had, intimate partners, I guess you could call them, in the past who have tried to weaponize this as a way to avoid responsibility. Wrong time. This is not the time to talk about this. And then they go off and keep doing whatever the hell it is they're doing that triggered the fight in the first place.
The only time that would be actually, I would accept that, is if I was in church, at a wedding, or a funeral. Those are the passes. Any other time, you say that shit, we're gonna dig into this fucking now. I want my fucking piece of cake, bitch!
You catch somebody red-handed doing some reprehensible, betraying shit, now is not the time.
Oh my God.
What?
And here's another thing. Women will pull this when they know they're wrong. They want to put some distance between the actions and the argument. Mm-hmm. And they want to come up with a way to gaslight you, to make you think it's your fault or it never happened.
Turn it all around on you. We're not going to talk about this now because you're being too emotional.
No.
Now is not the time because you clearly haven't taken the time to think about the consequences. Well, obviously, you've taken the time to concoct that bullshit argument, so I think we've had plenty of time to reflect. Let me help you pack.
Yeah, it's time to pack.
Too tired or hungry? This is just common sense,
yeah.
I think.
Listen, if you're hangry and some shit's going down, go get a couple sandwiches, take a nap, and then come back and readdress.
I know it sounds like a Snickers commercial, but it is true.
It is it's totally true.
You're not yourself when you're truly hungry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm an asshole when I'm like really hungry, man.
Yeah, and if you're, especially, this is one of the reasons why I think it should be illegal to file for divorce within the first year after a child's birth. Because you're going to be sleep deprived, constantly hungry, constantly irritable. And so many couples love to file for divorce after their kids are born because they're going to, well, not couples, women file for divorce 80% of the time. Mm-hmm. But they choose that permanent solution for a temporary problem because they just don't want to give anybody space that they would demand for themselves if the situation was reversed.
Like, I literally, after my first kid was born, would get in my pickup truck, leave the house around 8:30, pull over at a little park, get in the back of the pickup truck with a sleeping bag and sleep for 2 or 3 hours. Because I had a job that was very flexible.
He told me that.
That's the only way I could get through it because I was not getting any goddamn sleep at all.
Oh man, it's rough.
Yeah.
The first couple years, my kid didn't start sleeping through the night on a regular basis until he was 4.
Wow.
So interrupted sleep was the coin of the realm in my house.
I would not accept that.
But yeah, this goes right up there with you never go shopping when you're hungry. Because you wind up making bad decisions and doing shit that you just don't need.
Oh my God, I'm terrible at that.
Oh, so I'm hungry. I'm gonna go get some food. Oh, that sounds good. And that sounds good. And that sounds good. 2 weeks later, you're throwing everything. Why the fuck did I buy all this shit?
Absolutely correct.
Because you went shopping when you were hungry. Next one, you keep fighting. So this one needs a little bit of detail here. So when a conversation turns into a screaming match, it becomes unproductive. It's absolutely true. If you get to this point, take a pause and revisit the conversation later. But, as always, there's a caveat to this.
Here we go, the feminist caveat.
If you are the one who calls a pause to the argument, and your woman is in that heightened emotional state, or if she's a feminist, you fucked up twice.
Oh my God.
She is going to take that as a sign of weakness and that she has won the argument.
And she's going to double down.
She will double down.
Doubling down, it happens all the time.
Yeah. When we know certain stunning and brave Canadian leaders who like to do such things when they know they're wrong. Oh, ladies, I'm so sorry, but this next one is almost exclusively on your shoulders. Silent treatment.
Oh, yes! Yeah, men are not really programmed to do that.
I will say this, though. Here's a thought. If you have ever dated or married someone from the Mediterranean region, specifically like Sicily, Italy, you don't really have to worry about this.
No.
Those are the women that throw plates,
yes,
shoes.
I was going to say that. Like, if you check out the comedy video, Ethnic Anger Scale.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
You can't even have an argument with one of these ladies without them bringing your family into it.
Fuck yeah.
Woo!
It's like arguing with Puerto Ricans, pretty much take their cake, and the Italians and the Greeks are like right behind them. Yeah, you guys need to check out that comedy video, The Ethnic Anger Scale, man.
That is a good one. I like that one. Of course, we got called, istophobes for posting it in the first place. How dare you?
I don't care.
You're talking about racial stereotypes. I know, it's fucking funny, isn't it?
It is. It's comedy gold. Comedy gold.
It wouldn't offend them if it wasn't true. If you say something that's clearly bullshit, people don't get upset. They just go, what?
They're like, whatever.
You're out of your mind. But when they have an emotional, visceral reaction to it,
You know you hit the
you
bullseye.
know it's true. Why do you think leftoids call everyone else racist? They know who the real racists are.
That's absolutely
Because
right.
they're alone with their own thoughts most of the time.
Damn it. He's right.
Thought.
Thoughts! Unfortunately, they're alone with their thoughts and not their thoughts. Unless you're talking about OnlyFans.
Yeah. Don't let me started on that.
I pay $25 a month for the girlfriend experience. She totally cares about me. Mm-hmm. She's different. She loves me. And this is probably why 80% of divorces are filed by women. Or if you're college educated, 90% of divorces are filed by women. Did you know that little tidbit? Sources on Redonkulas.com.
Yeah, on top of them not being able to find enough people to marry because men are dropping out of college because they realize it's horse shit.
And 2/3 of all student debt is held by women. So do you think the divorce rates are going to get worse or better?
They're going to get worse.
Woo!
And they're already fucking... It's going to get to the point where nobody's going to want to get married anymore, and I can't fucking blame them.
Yep, and then they're going to have to wheel out their little bachelor tax idea again. We'll see how well that goes
That's
over.
going to go over stunningly.
Last one on the list. Focus on differences. This last one really is just a recipe for divorce. Bottom line, if you reach this point,
over.
your relationship's already over.
It's already over.
If all you're doing is focusing on the things that make you unhappy in your relationship, and you are deliberately turning a blind eye to what brought you together in the first place, you're done.
And women do this a lot because they get to this point because they realize they can't change the man they're with.
And the funny thing is that if they're successful changing the man that they're with,
They lose respect.
they lose interest
and
in
they
divorce
leave
them anyway.
You're
What's the
damned
point?
if you do and you're damned if you don't, bro.
But I do think that there was at least enough good stuff in this. There's enough good advice in here for it to not all be, hey, let's
It's
let's
not.
shit on the author. There's some good nuggets.
It's
in here.
not a complete, psyop bullshit thing. There are some true points here.
Arguing when you're hungry,
Mm-hmm.
shopping when you're hungry, both are bad ideas.
Yeah, stepping away when it gets too heated, it's a good idea.
Yeah, once you start name calling, you've already lost the argument. That's another pure fact.
Yep.
I don't think anybody can really argue with that one unless they're calling you names, in which case they don't have an argument. So you see how that comes full circle? But let's end it on this thought. See what I did there? I just like to throw in a few extra, especially
There
for
you
you guys
go.
watching over on Patreon Locals and Subscribestar. Let us know about some of the best or worst, I guess, depending on your perspective, arguments you've ever had and the tactics that your significant other employed to try to win it. Leave the comments. If we get enough good ones, maybe we can do an episode on it. Because we always want to know what you guys think.
Yes, we do.
Yes, and if you haven't signed up yet for Patreon Locals or Subscribestar, not only are you seeing this episode later than everyone else, but you're seeing it in a watered-down, truncated version because, my YouTube algorithm and reasons.
My feelings.
So we'll see you next time on The Jukes of Hazard. Although I don't the way this is vibrating like a battery-operated boyfriend, I don't think it's going to be jumping hills anytime soon.
No, I gotta get tuned up, man.
And that's another bad argument tactic. Never tune up your woman just because she calls you a name or tells you that you're, can't please a woman anyway. And she faked it every time. Oh, that's another. I faked it every time.
Bullshit.
I saw your toes curl on the sex tape. Sex tape? Oh, shit. Damn it, she didn't know about the camera in the corner.